Welcome back, video creeps. Man, it's nice to be back, especially because we're kicking off the year with one of your requests. This one comes straight from the heart of my friend and partner over on Aimless Discussion, Brad Thornton. The guy really wanted me to get off my balls to talk about the 2015 New Zealand horror comedy Deathgasm. Now, I've been told it was the party movie of the year, so let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. Remember, watch the whole video. Don't be a bitch. Deathgasm was written by Jason Lee Hoden, taking his experience as being a social outcast and total metalhead straight to the highest level by making a movie about his passions. Because that's the best way to nana the competition. Especially the ones that spend all their time just smearing shit on your face. Yeah, make a movie where you're awesome. Then put them in the movie and make them just suck dick the whole time. And honestly, the plan worked. The film got an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. However, that's not to say that this movie didn't run into its fair share of issues. As a matter of fact, Walmart wouldn't even sell this movie unless the film went through a name change. So if you picked up this film at a Walmart, there's a good chance that this movie is actually called Heavy Metal Apocalypse, which I actually think is kind of cool. Not a better title, but cool. Now, the movie starts off with some pretty badass visuals. Just hyper animations depicting shit like a guy shitting out his intestines, blood and coffins and skulls. There's even a guy playing a guitar, but the guitar is a dick. Honestly, the setting of the tone is damn exciting. But I'm the kind of guy who likes to see cartoon shit out their intestines. What? Fucking take me to court, see how that holds up. That shit ain't a crime. Now we meet Brody, who is our main character, whose mother got sent to jail for trying to blow a Santa Claus on meth. Again, not seeing the wrong in these life choices, except for the meth thing. Don't do meth, creeps. Fucking watch Breaking Bad. Actually, no, don't watch Breaking Bad, because then you might think that that's a good idea to do like what he did. I mean, it is a tragic story ultimately. Look, just go to the nearest gas station where you can get a 40 at like 3 a.m. Take a look at who opens the door for you. He gets sent to go live with his uncle, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style, but unlike Will, this doesn't turn out to be a perfect fit. Because this family claps for the Lord, and they harbor a fucking asshole of a son named David, who's just everything that you hate when you think about a douchebag. He's a fucking bully, and he's closed-minded, and he's just a fucking toolbox. I hate this guy. Now, after rescuing his buddy Dion from a beatdown, him and his friends play a game of Dungeons and Dragons, where Brody completely tunes out and fucking imagines this as his reality. Cool fucking kid, honestly. Now, in this shit little town, there is a saving grace. A groovy little hole-in-the-wall spot called Alien Records, where Brody meets another metalhead named Zach, who teaches him how to, like, make napalm and fucking scorch Hail Satan into Earth. All things you can put on a resume, you know, fucking career-building traits. And ultimately, the guys start a band with their buddy Giles and Dion. And after a couple of bad name suggestions, they settle on the name Deathgasm. Though I will say Cannibal Unicorn, fucking strong runner-up. We see Zach and Brody approach a house that seemingly no one lives inside of, when the two decide that they're gonna bacon and egg that shit, and inside they see newspaper clippings for a band called Hexasword. But what's more is they find an actual legendary record from the band themselves. The only problem is this fucking guy is holding it in his fucking death grip while he's sleeping. But Zach is able to get in there and snake it from him. You know, before the seemingly homeless man wakes the fuck up and starts swinging a fucking bat at them. But just then, a random man in a black suit, some fucking Men in Black shit happens. But the boys take the record and they leave out through the window. And this poor mystery homeless man gets his throat slit by the Man in Black. The guys head back to the place and look at the record only to see that they've been fucking rickrolled. Literally, there's like a Rick Astley record in the sleeve. hysterical. But what also falls out of the sleeve is a paper with music notes on it. So naturally, the two of them are like, hey, let's make that into a song. But then we cut over and meet clearly the real big bad of this movie. Because when the man in black shows up saying that he didn't find the record, he makes lackeys cut this guy's head off. Twice. Oh my god, it's like fucking one of my favorite scenes in a movie. It's really when the comedy really shines. Now, after filming a music video for their song Intestinal Bungee Jump, Brody runs into Medina, and they proceed to have an ice cream date. Just two Power Ranger alumni getting together and licking cream. Also, I'm not kidding, both of these characters at some point they were in Power Rangers. And they're not the only ones in this movie. Later on, we meet a character named Abigail who is also in Power Rangers. Fucking nutty. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the movie. It's kind of cool. Anyway, Medina turns her slut shit all the way up to 10. But from the fucking shadows, Brody's asshole cousin sees what's going on. But before you know it, the band is playing this dark hymn. And as to be expected, some freaking shit starts to happen. Which is funny because, like, the actual song itself, it's not that great. Like, the song sounds like something that you learn how to play while learning how to play any instrument. Motherfucker, you gotta need to walk that shit back. It's not done cooking.
I've got absolutely no idea why you've had any encouragement whatsoever. It's about as bad as it can possibly get.
Brody starts to decipher what was written on this black hymn. But when he figures it out, it reads, "Summoning the King of Demons, a black hymn for gaining power and fortune." So that's a good sign. Nope, forget it. He gets the shit kicked out of him by his cousin David for skeezing in on his girl. But what's worse is Medina's really feeling Brody and writes out a little message giving it to Zach so that way Zach can give it to Brody. That way the two of them can meet up in the park. But Zach doesn't deliver the message, which honestly is Brody's fucking fault. Listen up, video creeps out here looking for love. If you're out here spitting game, you also get the fucking number. You get the social media account. You something. You can't rely on pigeons to deliver your scrolls anymore, son. Then again, with the way that 2021 is going, who knows? Maybe in a couple months we'll see the fall of the internet. We'll have to fucking depend on birds again. Even though we all know. Because if you don't get that social media, if you don't get those digits, someone else will. And that's exactly what the fuck Zach does. Ah, fucking snake. But Brody doesn't know this, so he gets the band back together again, so that way they can properly play the black hymn. And as they're playing, people in the neighborhood start puking blood. At some point, even a fucking baby like spits up blood out of his carriage. Hysterical. Clearly evil has taken over the town. Yet majority of the kids seem pretty fucking cool about it. Call me a bad apple, but if I see my teacher shitting out blood right in the middle of class, yeah, I'm probably gonna play hooky. I suggest you do the same. The guys head back to Zach's house where they must fight a demonized version of Zach's father, only ending when killing him with an engine. Brody confesses summoning demons to Zach because he's a good friend, and that's what good friends do. You goddamn snake in the grass, Zach! How could you? Meanwhile, Medina saves Giles and Dion with like a fucking axe, and the three of them head to the school because for some reason that's just the safest place to go. And I gotta say, I love this little trio. I wish we saw more of the three of them together. Giles with his little paintball gun, Dion with his Hulk smash fist, and Medina with her fucking axe. I would have loved to see that part of this story. Unfortunately, we don't really get to see that. But visually, they just look cool. Now, Zach and Brody need to learn how to set things right. And this is when they head over to Abigail, Power Ranger alumni number 3. And she tells Zach and Brody that the only way to defeat Aloth is at 3 a.m. on a blood moon, which so happens to be tonight, because this is a fucking movie. Now, if the movie's plot is starting to feel a little familiar to you, gang of teenagers awaken evil and then they must do something to put evil back, there's a good chance that you're thinking about Evil Dead, which is exactly where your head should be. The creators of this movie had a deep love for the movie Evil Dead and wanted to write a love letter to the movie, making the ultimate homage. And so by throwing his bit of flair on it, we got Deathgasm. Now the big bad from earlier in the movie shows up again, finally, because like honestly, I had totally forgotten about this character. I was so immersed in like the main storyline that I was like, oh yeah, this fucking guy. Except he's not the big bad at all. He gets murked quick by some random chick that was blowing him earlier in the movie. Literally, that's the only character development that we got from this. She's blowjob girl. She kills him and gets down on her knees because she's blowjob girl, but this time pledges her allegiance to Aloth, so that way she can be the vessel he uses when he comes to Earth. But not a Deadite tells her that if she wants that shit, she's gonna have to find Brody, because Brody is the key. But Brody is busy devising a plan to play the Black Heim backwards in order to reverse the curse. So he heads back to his aunt and uncle's house to get their instruments, where they would see the note that Dion left for Zach and Brody, except Zach sees it first and then hides it from him. Zach really fucking hates notes. He's not a ride or die at all. He's a selfish prick. However, that selfish prick does find a bunch of dildos and anal beads, and they decide those are as good of weapons as any. So Brody runs off to get a fucking chainsaw. Evil Dead. And a fucking wonderful scene where they're trying to beat the shit out of these not Deadites with anal beads and dildos and chainsaws ensues. It's fucking awesome. Probably one of my favorite action scenes that I've seen in the last like year or two. Brody's able to kill his aunt with the chainsaw, and Zach kills the uncle by like shoving a dildo in his mouth until his jaw breaks off. It's fucking awesome. Best dildo related killing I've ever seen. Then David comes home, totally normal, and without hesitation, Brody gets up and just cuts his fucking, like, it's another highlight in this movie. The two of them suit up and go on a fucking Deadite killing rampage, trying to gather up the Black Heim pages that blew out the window in the skirmish. And they're just sending buzzsaws through head, dicks are being cut off with weed whackers. It is glorious. Now this finally leads them back to the school, where they meet up with the other three who somehow were able to make it there with their weapons of choice. But the truth comes out that Zach has been less than a friend to Brody, and the two of them begin to brawl, sending Zach to storm away. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang heads to the homeless guy's house in order to play the Black Heim loud enough for the entire town to hear it to reverse the curse. But unfortunately, this is when they run into Blowjob Woman and her lackeys, and they fucking want the Black Heim. And I don't know why this just hits the eyes wrong, but like when we see the lackeys, they're holding like assault rifles. I don't know. I just feel like due to the mysticism of this film, they should have had like staffs or something, fucking like a dagger. I don't know, but just assault rifle seems like too much. They all get tied up and they're gonna be used as sacrifices to Aloth. But Zach comes back in the nick of time, saving Dion. Now with the team back in tow, Zach takes one of those chainsaws and shoves it right up one of the lackeys' ass, and we're able to kill the lackeys. However, in this same scene, because more Deadites start coming into the homeless house, we actually lose Dion and we lose Giles. Brody starts playing the song backwards, but it's too late as the clock strikes 3 a.m. and Aloth begins to ascend to Earth. But instead of using Blowjob Girl as the vessel, awesome tits by the way, very good stuff, you should be proud of yourself, he chooses Zach, and being all-powerful, he kicks Brody's ass, shoving a horn right into his midsection. But Brody gets back up and starts playing the song, weakening Aloth to the point that he is able to exit out of Zach's body. But now Zach must fight off Aloth trying to get back inside. The only way to stop him is for Brody to slit Zach's throat to send him right back to hell. And it's an emotional scene, honestly. Zach has had such an interesting character arc, from being the fucking asshole who steals someone's girl to being the guy who comes in to save everybody's life because he realizes that he does need friends. He can't be alone the whole time. So it's bittersweet to see Zach go. We cut down to 2 months later and Brody and Medina are in the honeymoon stage of their relationship. She's got a fucking tattoo of herself on her arm. That's whatever. But then weird things start to happen again when Brody looks over at the record player and hears a demonic voice coming through. But then it immediately cuts to Zach's voice saying, I'm just fucking with you. Brody goes, Zach, and the movie fucking ends. is a satanic metalhead thrill ride that absolutely lives up to the name. And I love that while watching this film, you can tell that the creators decided to have as much fun as possible. Even down to fun little details that you don't even realize while watching the movie. Like if you play a muted Deathgasm and Iron Maiden's Life After Death simultaneously, they sync up perfectly, like to the second. Shit like that makes you really respect and appreciate the dream. And as a viewer, you immerse yourself in the project's passion. Yes, this is a metalhead's visual paradise. The references to bands like Trivium and Cannibal Corpse are rife. This is your language, metalheads, and the movie speaks it fluently. But this movie is for everybody who likes dark humor and music. I love the meta breaks and the tension that the film is able to build, like the double decapitation scene, or when Zach questions Abigail about 3 a.m. Pacific or Eastern time. Do demons recognize it? That kind of shit is super funny, and it works so well in this film without ever losing its momentum. It has a flourishing style that never gets old while indulging in the film. The notebook paper sketches, and the wardrobe and the face paint. This is a film that has the power to teleport you into a different world that some may not understand or ever get the chance to visit. Deathgasm is one of those movies that when you're watching it, within 5 minutes of seeing it, you know you want to own it. So many horror comedies fail in this department, and this movie just triumphs in that way. I actually found this movie to be quite funny. More than once did I laugh out into the sound by myself. The film's infectious sensibilities are just hard to deny, you can't. And the blood content in this movie is something to behold. This is just a splatter classic being built right in front of your eyes. With superbly inventive kills, it is completely unhinged in the best possible way. And while watching, you love where this movie is willing to go. I really hope that this isn't the last that we see of this world and these characters, because while this movie was perfectly paced, the truth is I couldn't help but want to watch more immediately after finishing the first one. It was like being into a TV show that you love and just wanting to binge. That's how this movie made me feel. Now, while we probably won't see it this year, Deathgasm does have a movie coming to us in the near future, getting greenlit for a future project back in 2019 called Deathgasm 2 Goremageddon. But with the state of the world and everything, who knows how it's gonna go down or when we're gonna see this thing. The only information that we know about it is that in the first 10 minutes of that film, it is gonna be bloodier and gorier than anything that we saw in the first movie. So tell me, are you ready for Goremageddon? Did you dig this sweet little flick as much as I did? Whatever you thought about it, let me know in the comments below. If you want to donate to my channel, a link to my Patreon is down in the description below. All of your support really fucking means the world to me, and it helps me to keep on making more content. So those of you that do support the channel, thank you so fucking much. As always, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. And you know how I feel about hitting that notification bell. Just do it, it makes me feel good. That's gonna be it for this video. Peace, video creeps.
Appreciation comes in many forms. Those who stay for you will stay and brave the storm. Rebecca reviews, Kyoto, Larry Sherman, Corey Stewart, Coleman, Spooky and Butcher's Grindhouse, Lolo Exco, Six Siren and Michael Andrews. You guys, you mean so much to me. Makes me think of where I'd be without your love, without your